Aman, I think we should wait for a few more minutes. Once we start getting participants, we'll start.
Okay, so are we live right now, or how is the thing?
Yeah, we are live, so now people will start joining in.
Okay, cool.
Dice,
Neeraj, are you there? Aman,
Yeah, I'm here.
I think we can go live. You just on your video. Even I'm trying from my end.
Sure.
Can you see me?
Yeah, I can see you.
We
Yes.
can see you. Hi, Aman. Hi, Vaishali.
Hey. Hi.
I think we can get started, Vaishali.
Yeah. 1 second. Just 1 second. Hi everyone, and thank you so much for signing in for our today's webinar session. I am Vaishali Sanketh from marketing team InCred. Before we start, I'll quickly introduce our today's speaker. We have Nilanjan from InCred. He's a head credit risk and I'll request everyone to keep yourself. Yeah. So we have with us Mr. Nilanjan Chaturaj from InCred. He is a head credit risk and product development at InCred Education Loan. With more than 10 years of experience in education industry. Prior to this, he was instrumental in the launch and scale up of other two education loan platform in India. He has done his bachelor's in computer science and liberal arts from US. So we also have our partner Aman Jain with us from Gyanthan. So he is one of the co-founding member of Gyanthan. So he basically takes care of admission and marketing over there. Aman and his team has helped more than 2,000 students in planning their study abroad. And talking about Gyanthan, so Gyanthan is one-stop solution for students planning to study abroad. They will help you in right selection of partners, visa, test preparation, education loan, and many more. And students have recommended and rated high them on various platforms like Google and Facebook. So, and I forgot to mention about InCred. So, InCred is basically four and a half year old NBFC majorly into personal loan, education loans, and SME business loan. And with more than 5 lakh customers trusting InCred. And I can say it's one of the fastest growing NBFC in the country. So yeah, that's it from my end. I welcome Nilanjan and Aman. I will request you to take it ahead.
Thank you, Vaishali. Thank you for organizing today's event and also for such a sweet introduction for me and Aman. And welcome everybody to today's session. Thank you all for joining in. Obviously, a lot has happened over the last 3, 4, 5, 6 months due to the coronavirus pandemic. And a lot of sectors have seen a lot of upheaval in the last 2-3 months. The higher education sector has been no exception. There has been a lot of things that have come up in the last 2-3 months in terms of colleges, universities, offline, online courses, visa immigration rules, etc., etc. So in today's session, we will try to cover various trends and various updates from the higher education segment with an objective to help today's viewers get more enlightened and get more knowledgeable about what's really going on around the world, what they should look out for in terms of their higher education, overseas education plans. So that's the broad objective. Obviously, we will spend a lot of time today on the various countries that you should look out for, and obviously the US developments, including the H-1B visa announcement, and more recently the online course announcement that came earlier in the week. Those are hot topics, so we will spend a little bit time there. And to help me, give out the most relevant and pertinent information to all of you, Aman has joined us, obviously. Vaishali introduced who Aman is, so I'm not going to spend more time introducing Aman, but Gyandhan happens to be one of the, if not the best platforms for admissions and student financing assistance. You guys are probably all aware of Gyandan. Aman is a founding member of Gyandan. He himself was a student, has been through the whole process of education loans, studying in higher education and all of that. So Aman, how are you? I know a lot has happened since the last time we spoke. How are things at your end? How is Gyandan doing? How are you guys managing your daily, work-related responsibilities in the midst of a lockdown? So go ahead and let us know a little bit about that.
So first of all, thanks a lot for inviting here and talking to the audience today in the webinar. A lot has happened since we last spoke, and in something that nobody has thought of that can happen, an event of that magnitude that which can pose the entire world for a couple of months and probably more now. Uh, for us, actually, we started working from home early in the March, given when the total number of cases in India were around 100 or so. And being a tech-driven company from day one, it was not very hard for us to, change the operational method and everything for our team. And I'm glad to say that there has been no operational impact as such because of the lockdown, because even before before the COVID happened, we were an online platform only. So that worked in our favor. And at the same time, we have seen uptick in the number of students who are applying for an education loan. One of the primary reason is that all the offline channels which were easily available for the students earlier are now closed, and people are a bit reluctant about stepping outside. And that's where again companies like InCred, Gyandan comes into the picture, who believes in doing the complete process online. So it has been a hard time for all of us, and we are going through it. But at the same time, we have taken steps for past customers, our new customers, or the students who are planning to go abroad, in terms of what they should do, what they should not do. How about InCred? What you guys are doing? How you guys are handling the things that you're in?
Okay, sure. Yeah, thanks for your response. I'm glad to know that Gyandan has been able to continue their business operations and continuity in their business more or less on a normal manner, and thanks to technology that we can do that. So similar story here at InCred. Since since our systems and processes were very tech based, it really was a pretty smooth transition for us from due to the lockdown, in terms of working from home and all, and also in terms of okay, so the other thing I didn't mention when I started the today's presentation is I request all of you guys to keep yourselves muted. If you do have a question, kindly type the question in the chat window, and we will answer your questions at the end of the session. But please do keep yourself muted when you join, otherwise it will become very difficult for each other to hear us. Sorry, I digressed a little bit, but coming back to InCred, Aman, work-wise, it was an easy transition for us. Also from letting people apply for an education loan, we have kept the application window open throughout the lockdown period. It is a email scan document based or online based application, and therefore there is no need to come to our branches and all of that. So it was not that difficult, I guess. Yes, personally it was a little bit tough, purely because domestic helps and cooks and all were not here to help us out. So obviously all of us we had household responsibilities on top of work. So it was a good balancing game for us.
Right.
And then Aman, also I would like to share with our audience today and you that we also reached out to all our student borrowers from the last 3 years who are attending 600 plus universities across 25 different countries. And we inquired about their well-being, about difficulties they are facing because of COVID and all of that. And the heartwarming news was there, one, that nobody's health or their family's health was impacted, and also looks like most of our students were able to retain their jobs, so nobody faced a job loss or anything due to COVID. So that was a good positive outcome. So seems like it has been very, very challenging, the biggest crisis of our lifetimes maybe. But then out of crisis comes a lot of future growth and development, and seems like we all have adjusted ourselves and continuing work in more or less normal ways. And going forward also, this will force platforms like you and me to become even more tech reliant, and not analog based of working. And from that angle, my last point, Aman, is that we have launched our fully online digital application form. So students can just go online and fill the application form and apply for a loan. They can get an instant decision once they fill the form. They can get their sanction letters and all of that downloaded online in PDF format. We have just launched that. Also, we will integrate with our partners like you. So my team will reach out to you to do the API integrations of the new system. And also around August, September, we are hoping to launch our online loan management system end to end, where students can pay the loan, from an app, request all the services through an app. So obviously that will also help in taking care of the issues thrown at us by coronavirus. So that's where we are from InCred and its borrowers and its employee from the InCred family standpoint. I know, Aman, you have been reaching out to a lot of students have in fact been reaching out to you. You are also in touch with universities and from different countries and things like that. So I am sure that there are some trends and some information that you and your team have noticed in terms of which countries and which courses, etc., people should look out for more now, and which are the countries that are probably better option in the given the coronavirus pandemic. So do you want to spend a few minutes telling us all about your idea of which are the more preferable countries now, pros and cons, etc., of the various geographies? Will you take us through that for a little bit?
Right. So glad you asked. Actually, I prepared a brief presentation given the topic was to talk about the top countries to study abroad. So is my screen visible?
Yes, I can see your screen. I am guessing everybody else can too. So great. Why don't you take us through this presentation?
Right. So before I start, let me just give you a brief about what I'm going to present here. I have covered 6 countries in the presentation, and if there are any other countries that people want to know about, they can just let us know, and I will share my thoughts. So after I have prepared a couple of slides for each of them, and at the end, there is a summary slide which talks about what people should do who are planning to join in 2020, and what people should do who are planning to join in 2021. So clear action point my team and I was able to define for the audience today. So starting with United States, because that is the country which is most famous among the students in terms of studying abroad. Nothing to, I don't want to spend a lot of time in mentioning that the country has done horribly in terms of handling the situation. And moreover, the recent visa guidelines that the Trump administration published about the F1, H1 visa of the online, if you do the online classes from, so if you do the online classes, then you will not be eligible for the work permit there. And before that, there was a temporary ban on the H1B visa. So all of this combined tells us there is a negative sentiment about the country, and the people or the administration in US themselves are not welcoming the students at this moment. And just before this announcement, the recent announcement of if you do the online classes, you will not be able to get the visa or the work permit. Before that, there were few universities which they had made up their mind around that, okay, they will do the online classes and this is how they will work. Now, given that there will not be there will not be any work visa. So now most of the universities are thinking of the hybrid model where a few classes online, a few classes offline, and which is something I personally think will not be possible for September because the current number of cases per day, which is increasing in US and India, that is a big issue. Because even let's say if we believe that by the end of August or maybe in early August, Indian government starts operating the international flight, even in that case, the visa consulates are not open to issue the visas, and it definitely take more time to get the visa done and everything. So September intake or the fall to 2020 intake, after the recent announcement by the Trump administration, it took a hit. And though classes and universities are offering the hybrid model, but it would be difficult for the students to join the hybrid model given the current number of cases. So what can be done? So obviously, you have worked hard getting an admit if you already got an admit. So if you already got an admit, then the one thing that you should do is maybe you should defer it uh, minimum to spring 2021 or fall 2021, which is one of the safest move, as we can see as per the information available right now. Or look for the other countries offering better or similar opportunities, which will cover that how other countries are taking this opportunity to showcase what they have in terms of what they can offer to the students in terms of abroad education. And also for a few of the students who compromised a bit this time, maybe due to lack of time, they were not able to prepare for GRE or did not get a good GRE score. Maybe you can use this time as an opportunity to improve your profile and get an admit from the better university next year. I'm sure everybody can do better. Everybody. So that is the opportunity in front of all of us. So that is unfortunately the state right now of the United States, or what we can see is that it's looking hard that in the coming months people will be able to travel to US and join the in-person classes there. Though with this, as many students are differing to the next year, one another challenge that the student will be facing who are thinking of applying next year is that the competition is increasing a lot. So for fall 2021 or spring 2021, there will be students who were initially planning for those countries, and now the students who have deferred it. So for this, for the universities and especially the good universities of the world, they have limited number of students, and they have to accommodate the students from last year and this year. So things look a bit competitive there if you're planning to fall 2021, and obviously applying early will definitely help. Uh, Whoever says whatever says that okay, it doesn't matter when do you apply, but applying early in our model, in our experience, have seen that okay, if you apply early, then definitely the chances of getting an admit, getting the scholarship increases. So as I said that I will show a summary slide at the end about what can be done and what cannot. Let's just quickly cover the rest of the countries as well and see what's happening around there. So if I talk about Canada, which was already a top study abroad destination even before COVID, and because of COVID, Canada has become another has been uptick in 2021 season. In terms of COVID, they are doing decent. Cases are on decline continuously. Even the Prime Minister has announced the $75 billion relief fund, which is a lot in terms of reviving the economy. And that again goes back to that, okay, hey, which country will be the first to recover once the COVID episode is over. Apart from that, one another thing that Canada has done, which is completely opposite from US, and what I would say what US has done is completely anti-student. But what Canada has done is the pro-student. That means they have said that even let's say they are ready to do the online offline classes on in the campuses in the September or in the fall 2020 season. But by any way or by any chance, if you are not able to attend it, then you can do it online, and your prospects around the work permit or the visa won't be an issue. So that's a big relief for the students who are planning to join Canada as a study abroad destination for 2020, and a positive outlook for the students for 2021, because given the current scenario, the relief package, the recovering of economy, and the pro-student approach that the Canada has shown, again, I would rate Canada as right now even better than USA in the very short period of time. to look forward to as a study abroad destination. Now coming to UK. Now I don't know if how many.
Aman, I'm sorry, I am interrupting you for a minute. I would want to ask you if it's okay for me to share some of the viewpoints on US and Canada, this being two major countries. So are you okay if I added some inputs to US and Canada and then we moved on to UK? Is that okay?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right. Thank you for that. Thanks. Okay, so what I think about the US is I more or less agree with what Aman has said. I know that US has been the number one destination for international studies for a really long time, and for very good reason. US happens to be one of the best educational systems in the world, higher educational system. Matter of fact, in my experience, studying, working in the US and also looking at the market for over 10, 12 years now, my theory is that the US is actually such a powerhouse, globally speaking, in terms of technology and economics. My guess is that the reason it's such a big powerhouse is because of its higher education segment. It is such a wonderful and such a impactful segment that it plays a large role in making the US the global superpower it is. And also, the US as a country, they want international students. Okay, it's not like they don't like, they love international students for various reasons. The very direct reason being, international students are a big revenue line for all these universities. Okay. um, Indian students contribute about $6 billion to the US economy every year. To put it in perspective, $6 billion is uh, about 40 to 45,000 crore rupees. Okay, 45,000 crore rupees Indian students pump into the US economy every year, and that's not something that US universities and the US government and the US economy can just wash their hands off. And if you take all countries combined, India, China, South Korea, all the African nations, all the other Asian nations, um, um, guys, once again, keep yourselves muted, please. I was hoping everybody on today's session have had enough remote working knowledge to know the basics that you have to keep yourself muted, but I'm guessing not everybody is aware, but please do. Also, if you have questions, type it into the chat window. We'll answer it at the end of this session. Coming back to the US, international students contribute $40 billion. Indian students contribute about $6 billion, and put together, international students contribute $40 billion to the US economy on a yearly basis. And that is a really large amount. That's about 500,000 crore rupees, is what they contribute. So international students not only bring in a lot of money, they bring in a lot of diversity, a lot of good ideas, a lot of the best talents are attracted by US universities. So all that is there, right? Now, I think that the US will make a rebound. In the short term, looks horrible actually, not only because coronavirus has ravaged the nation. When it started, Europe was the hotspot. It moved on to New York very quickly. New York came under control, and then the hotspots became Brazil, Russia, and other parts of the US. So other parts of the US, such as California, Texas, Arizona, etc., are going through a really bad time in terms of new infections, and there seems to be no end to it. Also, obviously, from a government or immigration standpoint, a lot of shock news have come our way in the last 2-3 weeks, which Aman was talking about earlier. Considering all of that, the US right now, obviously the fall window for US is gone. If you are focused on a US degree, you have made up your mind, the advice is go next year. Like Aman said, deferring your admission to next year is a good option actually. And the 1 year that you will defer, use that time creatively to learn something, learn a new language or a new program, learn data analytics, take an online certification, do an internship or do some research. um, you know uh, I would have said go travel another culture, another country, and learn from that. But obviously, traveling is not a very good option these days, so I wouldn't recommend students to travel. But deferral is a good option for the US right now, and this 1 year of deferral, please utilize it to do something creative. Don't spend 1 year watching Netflix at home. Okay, that will not be a very good way of utilizing your time. Now, coming to these immigration policies, I wanted to give you my take on it very quickly. I will take a couple of minutes to go over it. The first immigration change was announced by Trump a couple of weeks ago about the H-1B freeze. Matter of fact, the day he signed this announcement, Trump, I got a WhatsApp from one of my students who went to the US, did a MS degree from Carnegie Mellon, and he's working in Boston now. 4 in the morning, he sent me a text saying H-1Bs are getting banned. He sent me a WhatsApp. And for some weird reason, I woke up and I saw that text and I was like, oh my God, is this for real? So I went to the whitehouse.gov website and I checked it. I checked what this is, what this new rule really meant. And in the third page or the fourth page of this proclamation, I did indeed find a point that said that this H-1B freeze applies to people who are currently outside of the US, okay? And so basically what it means is students who are already in the US or students who will go there for an MS degree and then will apply for H-1B, this rule of H-1B freeze does not impact them at all, okay? Matter of fact, it's good news for them, and I'll explain why. However, people who are outside of the US right now, so say you are an Amazon employee in Hyderabad or Bangalore, and Amazon Seattle has offered you a H-1B and you are planning to move to the US on that H-1B, your visa is frozen now. You cannot go to the US till at least the end of the year. That's what Trump's H-1B freeze meant. People who are already in the US with a H-1B or on OPT or will be completing their MS and then trying for a OPT or a H-1B, to them this does not impact at all. Okay, so don't be worried. This H-1B was basically a misnomer. Don't worry about it too much. Matter of fact, you guys will be helped now. Why? Because US employers who want to hire H-1B employees, they have two ways of hiring them. One, from students who are already in the US studying or on OPT, they can be given a H-1B and hired. And the other pool where people who are outside of the US, say in India or wherever, and the company will bring them from India to US directly on a H-1B. So now this second option has stopped. So what does it mean for the employers? It means that they can only hire H-1Bs from the student pool who's already in the US, meaning the students who are going to the US to study will now have a higher probability of getting a H-1B. So in fact, I think it's a good development from that angle, only from that angle. So this is on the H-1B freeze part. This is lesser of a concern. The second immigration change of online courses not being eligible for F-1B visas, or to the extent that if a university goes online, the international students will be deported or will be told to transfer to a different university or go back home. It's a very cruel, terrible kind of a rule to implement. But let me also give you some background on why it got implemented. So Trump has been playing hardball on opening the economy. He's going against all the advisory of his public health officials, of all the medicine specialists he has at the White House. He's going against everybody and saying just open up the economy. And he has been specially pushing to open up schools. He's forcing schools, 10th till 12th, universities, colleges, he's forcing everybody to open it. And so there is a big tussle going on between the academic world in the US and Trump. Because the academic world is saying, how can we just open up because of Corona? We will have to do online, this, that. So in the middle of that tussle, Harvard University actually last week decided that they will do online classes. Following Harvard, Princeton and Yale declared the same thing. They all have very nuanced models of starting the campus in the fall. Some of them are planning to invite only half the student in the fall, and then the other half will come in the spring, so that social distancing can be implemented on the campus, right? So all of these were things were being thought of, but obviously a lot of them, including Harvard, said online classes is what we are looking at. The same day, President Trump publicly criticized that move in the White House at a press conference, said that Harvard is stupid, what are they thinking, they must open up, blah, 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 blah. And later on that night, he went and signed this order saying that if you go online, I will kick out your international students out of the country. So point one is, this is more of a political ball game going on between Trump and the universities in terms of opening up the country and campuses. This is an outcome of that. This is an outcome of that. Secondly, as all of you have heard, Harvard and MIT have already sued the government against this particular rule. And as of yesterday, Northeastern University has joined. The University of California system, which includes 9 really good universities, including UC Berkeley, UCLA, etc., they have joined. And the news I am getting is tens and hundreds of more universities are planning to join this lawsuit, because they have a united stand that this is bullshit. This is the worst rule that a president can ever say. This doesn't make sense. So they are going to fight it to the best of their abilities. US happens to be a good country of checks and balances. You cannot just go and do whatever. Even the president cannot go and do some random shit. There will be repercussions. There will be court cases. So there is a court case going on, a lawsuit going on against President Trump and his administration in the US federal court in Boston. The US federal court in Boston will put an injunction on this rule, which will put it which will block the rule for 2 weeks, and in those 2 weeks the universities will figure out a plan to overcome this challenge. And how they will overcome is either, I believe, my belief is that this rule will get overturned by a court of law. If it doesn't, what Aman said is, there is that hybrid model ka loophole in this rule, that if you have a hybrid model which is half online and half physical classes, so all the universities will shift over to that hybrid rule, and that way the international students will not face any challenges. So now let me tie it up, that international students are really important to the US economy, to the colleges in terms of a revenue stream, etc. And therefore, and also intellectually, they're very important to the US education system. And therefore, although this is a shocking news, I think that the universities have enough clout and enough power and enough authority and knowledge to overcome this really stupid, unrealistic move by Trump. So those are my thoughts about the US. I wanted to share that with everybody here. And while the US seems to be a bad idea for this fall, if you are gung-ho on the US and you want to go there next year. Things will open up, things will get better. Don't get discouraged or go to another country just because US is not opening up. However, if there is another country which is giving you equal quality of education in that particular program you're interested in, then obviously explore your options, and Canada happens to be one of those options. They have taken a very favorable stance towards immigration, international students, even in the light of COVID. And they are offering 50% of the classes to be online. Even then you can get the visa, post-graduation work permit, everything. So Canada does, and their coronavirus cases are definitely under better control than most other countries. So Canada seems to be a good option. Aman, back to you. I am sorry. I thought that before I forget all these points, let me present it for the knowledge of our viewers. So please go ahead and tell us about the other countries also.
Just to add one point on what you said, that this is just, all of this is just short-term political drama that is going on. And for the people, so whatever I said before, that was for the people who were planning fall 2020. But if you were planning fall 2021 or later, then there is no impact on you. So you should not change your plan because of the short-term things that we are seeing here today, because it's a long process. You prepare for GRE, you apply for the 10 or 5 universities, get an admit. So it's a long process. So don't get discouraged by all of this. If you were planning for fall 2021, then there is no change. You should go ahead and do the same.
Great. I totally agree. This is all political drama going on. Um, it will get over sooner or later, actually sooner rather than later. So I do agree with Aman. Aman, thanks on that. Please continue.
Sure. So one point that I wanted to mention about UK was
alert from calendar. Progress on partnerships.
Yeah, sorry.
Oh, that was you. No problem. Okay, go ahead.
Right. Yeah. So for UK, I don't know if how many of you know that, but before 2012, UK had a very pro student policies in terms of post-study work visa. And before COVID-19, in 2019 September, there was a new rule that was republished or sort of brought back to the constitution, that if people are coming to UK to study, then they will get 2-year work permit there to work. So that means after any course that you're doing for UK, even before COVID-19, this rule was there that for 2 years you can look for the work. Earlier, the rule was that in few months, if you don't get a job, you are not allowed to stay there. And that has now changed. And because of this, already before COVID-19, we were looking at a high number of students applying for the UK universities. And so much so that last I checked was there, even after COVID, the UK universities were mentioning that they have seen up to 100% increment in the number of applications for this year. This is even after COVID-19. So apart from COVID-19, UK is already this, what they are calling it's GIR, Graduate Immigration Route. And this is something UK was one of the top destination before 2012. I can say even equivalent to US at that point in time. But then gradually it decreased because of the new rule that was introduced in 2012. So great news about UK is that this rule is brought back, and now the cases is declining. And few weeks back, the UK Immigration Office did a webinar, and I attended that, and we got to know there that they are now planning for in-person classes in UK for September. That means that they have mechanism around that people will come, people will be quarantined for 14 days, 15 days, and they will be allowed to go to the universities and conduct their business there. So UK with the GIR again has become one of the top study abroad destination, which is already we are seeing with the uptick in the number of applications. Anything, Nilanjan, you want to add on UK?
No, I don't want to add too much, because the news that is coming out of the UK is more or less favorable. Like you said, I do see a large uptick in UK loan applications for sure. I am seeing I mean, just today, I was able to look at about 20 odd applications in the morning for a loan, and almost 8 of them, which is almost 40%, were for the UK actually. So huge uptick for the UK for sure. UK does have a really good education system as well. Problem is that they really shot themselves in the foot in terms of immigration and job placement visa rules and all over the last 5, 8, 10 years. And therefore there was a very, very sharp decline in student numbers, student mobility to the UK. It is going through a resurgence now because they have taken some friendly immigration policies in terms of letting students stay back. They do have quality colleges and universities and courses there. So it is, and also from a coronavirus standpoint, although Europe was being ravaged at one point and UK was looking really bad, seems like it is come under control now. My main worry about the UK at this point are basically two, and I will say what that is. My main worry is that infections in India are increasing so much that foreign countries may ban Indian visitors entering that country, or may put them under a mandatory quarantine of 14 days or whatever. And that will become a logistical challenge for students to attend the UK right now. Other than that, I think, and also obviously UK went through that whole Brexit thing. So the political situation was looking really bad. It is getting a little Brexit. There are still some question marks, but it is getting a little bit more stabilized. And I think that in the next 1-2 years, which is when the students complete their courses and enter the labor market, by then I think UK will be more or less back to its old glory days. So good option, Aman. I agree with.
Yeah. So now quickly we will talk about three more countries, which is Germany, Australia, and New Zealand. Germany, if I compare all the countries out there, Germany is the best country in terms of handling the COVID-19. They already have lifted all kind of lockdown, opened the economy after successfully controlling the outbreak, and moreover that there is a 130 billion euros stimulus package that has been now announced, and many believe that for such a small country, a small population, that much amount of money will definitely bring back the economy earlier than what most of the developed countries will bring back. Now, Germany has limited number of options in terms of education, but good thing about Germany is that for the public universities there, the education is free of cost, and for the people who wants to, who are tight on budget and who don't want to spend a lot but want to study in one of the top countries or in the top colleges, then Germany is an option for them. Again, I will repeat, it is very tough to get an admission in the public university in Germany. You need to do a lot of work in terms of your SOP, your letter of recommendation, and you also will have to enroll for the German classes either before going there or during your study there. That definitely helps in getting the or improving your job prospects there. But apart from that, the work permit and everything is on the line, and it is as normal it used to be for Germany.
Great. I agree. Germany is a very good option. Similar reasons from a healthcare standpoint as UK, that initially the virus hit them very bad, but they managed it really well. One of the best managed coronavirus countries, and also Germany happens to have a very good education system, higher education system. Obviously, in certain areas like engineering and some specializations under it, like automobile, mechanical, mechatronics, and all, robotics. Germany is a really good country that way. Tuition fees are zero in all public colleges, and some of the private colleges charge you, tuition.
Minimum.
Minimum tuition that's lower than tuition fees of a US or Canada or somewhere else. German language is an issue. It's highly recommended you pick up German language either from here or while you are studying in Germany parallelly. But if you know English, if you have a good grasp of English, German is a related language. It's in the same family as English. So you will be able to pick up German in due course. Okay, that shouldn't be a problem. So Germany, very good option. I think this is one of the top countries to think about for higher education before COVID and also post COVID. I think it is still one of the top countries to look at. Last thing about Germany, Aman, I was reading an article the other day, is that the German education government has announced that by 2025 their goal is to make international students as successful as national students. That's the goal. So that's amazing, huh? I mean, imagine the Indian government saying that Indian students, the kind of success they get after IIT, I will make sure students coming from Kenya and Ghana and Africa and Nepal will also get the same success. That will take India probably 100 years to get there. So Germany announced that. So that good news is that means that German government will go out of its way to ensure international students have the same success rates, placement rates, job rates, etc. as the German students. So very good country. Thanks, Aman. You can take it from here.
Right. So just one more point I wanted to mention about Germany. So there were few students whom we were helping to get admission for fall 2021 for Germany. And we received a sort of a request from the university that we are right now above capacity in terms of the number of applications. So I'm talking about fall 2021.
Oh, wow.
So that is the kind of craze that people are having in terms of applying for the public universities in Germany. And just to add on that, getting admissions in Germany, it's not cheap. People do charge a lot of a higher amount for that, but that's totally worth it if you finally get it, because you save a lot of money at the end of the day by getting admission.
Yep. Thank you. Great points. Thank you.
Yeah. So two more countries, Australia and New Zealand, I would say brother and sister in terms of the policies, in terms of the education and everything. The only difference is, so they have also taken actions around the Australia specifically, that if you attend online classes, they will allow you to come for the post-study work and everything. And Australia also have a pro-student policies in terms of work, part-time work, full-time work there while you are studying there or getting the visa and everything. The only difference I can say right now in the Australia and New Zealand at this moment is that New Zealand has not allowed or has not announced anything as of today that they will allow students to do online classes, and even after that they will give the post-study permit and maybe post-study work permit. And maybe the reason for that can be because they're already a few days back they announced that they are COVID free, but they are now seeing a couple of cases every day. So they are planning that they will go full-fledged open by September or by the next intake. So that is the reason why they are not announcing anything, because there are plans already in terms of opening early or starting flights early for the international students. So if I have to rank both of them, I would still rank Australia better as compared to New Zealand because of the overall bigger economy and more prospects in terms of the job. But New Zealand is as good as a country to study abroad if the right course, if you can find it there. So out of the 5-6 countries that we've discussed, so I've just put a summary slide here before I move to that. Nilanjan, anything you want to say on Australia and New Zealand?
So not much actually. I like those countries, very good standards of living, good economies. New Zealand has done great. It was the first country to actually bring coronavirus cases to infections to zero, very good control. They also have a really good education system. Unfortunately, InCred doesn't get, we didn't focus on Australia, New Zealand that much. So it's not like we have a lot of traction there. However, I know they have a proactive stance. I mean, the Australian government allowed international students to depend to their superannuation, aka pension funds, in case they had some financial crunch during the coronavirus. So they did take a more or less favorable stance. Also, New Zealand also has a good skilled immigration and student visa program in India. They are running for a really long time. So good destinations, and I would want to ask you, Aman, of another country that you haven't recommended here, but I would want to understand your thoughts about it. Is Ireland? What do you think of Ireland? Will you say that it is one of the countries that students should keep in mind, or you have any other views on it?
Yeah. No, so I would rate Ireland as good as UK at this point, or even better than UK, given if I take COVID-19 into consideration, because the COVID-19 there is sort of well handled as compared to UK, and all the universities that we speak to. So there are 6-7 good universities in Ireland, University Dublin, University College of Dublin, or such kind of colleges. So if you are able to get admission in top 8 or top 9 or top 7 universities there, then it is as good as UK or any other countries. But the number of students who go there and the number of opportunities in terms of admissions are less comparatively. So in total, what last I heard was around 2,500 or 3,000 students go to UK from India. Sorry, to Ireland from India every year. So that is the scale. But yeah, anybody who finds the right course there, it's really about what course that you are attracted to in that particular country, and if that course has job prospects or not. For example, I can say that somebody who is going for MS in CS, they have a good opportunity there because Apples of the world, Microsofts of the world, they have their back-end offices in Ireland. So that's something that people can keep in mind. Or people who are going for MBS there from Dublin Business Schools of the world, they have good opportunities again because this 4-5 big companies are there and their headquarters are there, or the back-end offices are there.
Ditto, very good. Aman, I keep saying I agree with you, but at the sound of sounding like that, again, I do agree with you. On Ireland, the number of colleges there is smaller, but they do have a good system of education. They have opened up their immigration and all in the last 2, 3, 4 years to where students can stay back and look for jobs after their studies. It is a very friendly country, and also from a job perspective, what has happened is due to Brexit, a lot of these major global companies shifted base from London to Dublin, which was their next easiest a big city to shift to. So London is in UK. Because of Brexit, they moved a lot of their processes and offices to Ireland, Dublin specifically. So Ireland did benefit from this. A lot of these bigger companies, Apple and they all have Ernst and Young, and all of them have pretty big presence in Ireland. So jobs are available, good country, tuition fees on the lower side, but at the same time, if you go into one of the top 5, 6, 8 colleges, including University College Dublin, Trinity College Dublin, NUI Galway, and things like that, you should be able to get a job provided you are in the right program. So that's about it, Aman. Why don't you summarize it, and then we will move on from here on to some other topics that we want to discuss today. Yeah.
Sure. So quickly, if you were planning for US for fall 2021, ideally you should be done with your GRE or any other test. If not, then take them as early as possible. I think August mid or August end should be the deadline for you, because you will take good amount of time in preparing your SOPs, LORs for the next intake. And obviously, as I mentioned, that competition will increase and the quality of application will matter a lot for 2021 session. At the same time, if you're planning for 2020, right now, as of what we discussed, attending online classes at the moment doesn't make sense. Let's wait for the court rules or the court hearings and see if that gets overruled. Then again, this point changes. Then it again makes sense to do the online classes. Either defer or attend the hybrid model if that is possible. Talking about Canada, as I mentioned, no harm in attending one semester online. You should go ahead and do that. If you were planning for the next year, get done with the IELTS as soon as possible. Again, August and September, I would go September mid, it should be the deadline for IELTS for you guys if you're planning for Canada, especially for January intake. UK, you will be able to attend in-person classes most likely. And one more thing, this specifically my team mentioned because and this is a very interesting point, Nilanjan, because people will be asked to be quarantined 14 days in prior. So people should know after reaching there where they will stay. So booking accommodation in prior would definitely help. Otherwise, you will have to move twice, and the government will make you stay somewhere in the hotel, which will be way costlier than what we generally Indians prefer to spend in terms of accommodation and utilities. And again, as I mentioned, for for 2021 session, after the introduction of GIR, UK student application is up by 150%. So that's a positive sign. And if you were thinking of UK, you should go ahead. Germany, as UK, you should be able to attend in-person classes. Here also, the 14-day quarantine period will be there. So sorry, there is a typo in the slide. Yeah. And, again, getting admission in public university is tough. Apply early, enroll for German classes in India because people think that they will go there and they will learn. One of the things I can suggest is the Duolingo. If you have heard of that app, that is a great app to start learning any language that you would want to. So yeah, so that is the key. Apply early, quality application for the public university in Germany. Australia, again, no harm in attending online semester. Same as Canada, should be done with the IELTS before September for the Jan session. And New Zealand, again, you will be able to attend in-person classes and should be done with IELTS before September for the Jan session. So more or less, except US and Germany, the recommendations are the same. Get done with your IELTS and start preparing for your application. Yeah, so I think that was the summary that I wanted to present, and I hope it was people are able to get clear action points out of this particular slide. Lanjan, you there?
Hi, Aman, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Was I not audible in the mid?
I either your internet stopped or mine. I can't figure out whose. I think it was mine. So I lost everybody. I am guessing that you were audible to everyone else. The last thing I heard where we were talking about UK and how people are going to get quarantined, and you guys can in fact help people with their accommodation in advance. So that's where I left off. Maybe that's a good point to pick it up again.
Yeah. So as I was mentioning, for UK, the accommodation, booking accommodation early would be helpful, because otherwise you will have to stay in the government advised centers, which will be costly for you after you land there, which is something that not anybody would want to do. For Germany, as I was mentioning, most likely you will be able to attend in-person classes, but getting admission in public university is tough. Apply early, as I was mentioning in the story, that already for uh, uh, 2021 season they are overwhelmed with the application. So that is something that you should keep in mind if you're thinking of Germany. Enroll for the German classes in India if you can. You can start learning the German from an app called Duolingo. That helps, or that's a very good starting point in terms of learning any new language, be it German or Spanish or anything. Australia, New Zealand, similar to Canada, no harm in Australia attending one semester online. New Zealand, you will be able to attend it in person. And if you are looking forward to 2021 session, then you should done with your IELTS GRE. Now one more thing, that many universities are accepting the Duolingo test, which is a new kind of test which has came in the market, which is actually we have written a blog on it as well on our blog section. Actually, it is cheaper than IELTS and TOEFL and easier. So somebody who were thinking of going ahead with IELTS and TOEFL, only recommendation is just check with the universities once. The universities that you are planning to apply, if they are accepting the Duolingo test, then I think it is easier, cheaper, and because at the end of the day, it's just a formality. So you should get done with.
Great. Yeah, sounds, I think, very, very pertinent inputs there, Aman. So thank you for sharing this. Is there anything else that you would want to talk about on these countries, or should we move on to our next section?
No, I think that is it. I think any other section from here.
All right. So lastly, Aman, we wanted to talk a little bit about, say, the future forward, how the world will look like 2-3 years from today, which is basically giving some information to the audience here in terms of whether they can look forward to good job opportunities or restricted job opportunities once they are done with their course, right? Because frankly speaking, the true outcome of a program is probably a job,
Right.
so from that angle we would want to spend a few minutes there. However, we have actually went past our time slot a little bit, so what we can do is there are some questions that has come in. Also, one of the question is related to this last section, which is how will jobs be impacted in the future. So I think we can cover it as a part of our question and answer session. And so what we will do is we will go into question and answers. I can read out a couple of questions for you. You can answer, and a couple of these questions I think I can also take. All right. So except that I am not able to see these questions because of my internet issue. I am on my hotspot. Just Aman, can you open the chat window and see the
Right.
question?
Yeah, I can see.
Okay.
So somebody has asked about best colleges, universities for Canada computer science for degree diploma according to their acceptance rate. Abhishek, I don't think I should be giving advice here in terms of which particular university you should go, because that's a very personal decision in terms of it based on your profile and everything. So I can talk about in general, MS in CS from Canada or diploma in CS from Canada is a great degree, is a great thing to do. At the same time, you should evaluate if you're planning for MS in CS, that with are you able to get this admit in one of the top universities in US, because MS in CS from US is something I would say very renowned, or comes with a guarantee of success at the end of the day. If I have to take name of one or two universities, then I will say McGill University, UCB is what I that comes on the top of my mind, that you should target to in terms of getting the admissions. Apart from that, if you want to know more about getting the admissions, I would recommend you to get in touch with one of my counselor, and they will understand your profile, and within 24 hours will give you a list of universities based on your profile where you can get an admit into. And we one more thing I wanted to mention, that as we work with InCred, while we suggest these universities, and we already take into consideration whether you would be able to get a loan or not. So that's a very good input in terms of because a lot many students, while they apply, they get an admit and they get to know after that that hey, this college is not eligible for a loan, or you cannot get a loan for this particular degree. So that is something that I think we are able to do at our end, given the extensive knowledge of the financial market and having the partners like InCred with us. So I hope that answers the question. Anything you want to add, Nilanjan, here?
No, I think you got it covered, and I think this is right up your alley, Aman, actually. So the best possibility for them would be to get in touch with you guys, and you guys can take it forward. There are good CS, obviously MSCS US is a really good proposition, but Canada is also really good. From the list of universities you mentioned, I would say University of Toronto is also one of the top ones there in terms of MSCS. And there are some other universities which are also really good but little bit unknown, such as Dalhousie or Simon Fraser or Carleton and things like that. So good place to do MSCS. However, I think that to guide you to the right college and program, we need a lot more details, and I think that's what Aman and their team specializes in. So I would request you to get in touch with them.
Right. So next question is about considering Hong Kong as an option. So I would at this point recommend not to go to Hong Kong because of the political,
yeah. I can't agree more, but Maman, go ahead, please. Sorry to interrupt.
Yeah, means that's what a straight no as of this moment, that you should not consider.
I think this may have been a trick question from somebody to see that if we know what we are doing. So Hong Kong is a horrible option. If you are thinking of Hong Kong right now, don't. The reasons are there is a huge political unrest going on there. Read up about Hong Kong in the news. You will find enough reasons to avoid it for the time being.
Right. Yeah. Let's move to the next question. How long will it take markets to recover from this pandemic? And could you please tell us the age of finding internship, possible salary, and post-job prospect from a decent college post-pandemic? So I will share my thought process, and then maybe Nilanjan can share his thoughts. So historically, we have seen, so this is not the first recession that we are hitting. So there was a recession in 2000, the dot-com era when it started, and then the 2008 recession was there. So first of all, historically, what we have seen in the recessions is whenever there is a recession, the number of students who opt for the education increases, given there are less opportunities outside, and people think of upskilling themselves so that they can get better jobs. So if you are thinking of getting an education, this has been the trend during the recessions, that the best idea is to upskill yourself, and higher education abroad or a degree adds a lot to your profile at the end of the day. So how long it will take? So any pandemic or any recession, even the Great Depression that we had, in 2 years' time, things were looking great again, or things were looking good enough to do the business, to get the jobs. So again, the sentiments, people were earlier saying that there will be a V-shaped recovery, but I don't think that is going to be the case. There will be, I think, a U-shaped recovery. I think already we are at the bottom of the U, and now things are starting picking up, given the lockdown has been left up, and people are talking about opening the economy overall. So people who are going for a 2-year course definitely should not think a lot about whether the recession would be there or not. The best estimate is that it will not be there. People who are going for a 6-month course or 1-year course, for you, there would be some problem, or there can be some problem, and it really depends from country to country. Now, the next part of the question is, tell us about the ease of finding internship, possible salaries, post-job prospects. So now, in terms of internships, again, in next 6 months, I would be very honest, it will be hard. So if you are joining fall 2020, then getting an internship will be hard. But again, if you're joining fall 2021, for spring 2021, getting internship and everything will be as normal as what it used to be. Though there can be case that you get a work internship in the current scenarios or maybe even in the future. But getting internship will not be that harder as compared to what it is right now for the students who are in US or any other country out there. And I think already covered the post job prospects. Yeah. So Nilanjan, over to you if you want to add anything on that.
I again, sounding very repetitive, I agree more or less to what you said. But in terms of post-corona world, post-pandemic world, look, I am a I have seen a couple more recessions in the past, including one very recently in 2008, which Aman was talking about. And let me tell you that recession is typically followed by years of continued growth and job creation. And that's what happened in the US after 2008-9, after their economic meltdown and financial recession. US witnessed years of record job creation and growth, and also a lot of immigration related changes came out. So the STEM OPT of 3 years in the US, that was launched in 2008. So there are related favorable changes that come out as a once a recession is over, or as a response to a recession. This recession will not be anything different. I think the world will come out stronger and better. Talented young people working hard, getting advanced degrees, will get a lot of job opportunities coming up. Also, I strongly believe that the university and higher education system globally will be the sector that bails out the world out of coronavirus. Not only will the world higher education sector uh, put in enough research and developments in tackling pandemics going forward in a better manner, but it will also direct the world. The universities globally will direct the world in the right direction of job creation and economic recovery by not only creating the curriculum needed for future jobs, but also by defining what those future jobs will be, and also by training people to be successful at those jobs. So the world higher education globally will be at the forefront of our battle against coronavirus and against this recession. Also, as we started, when we started this talk today, we were talking about how InCred and Gyandhan were tech based, and it was an easy transition for us. There was already a push. So this is regarded as the next industrial revolution, right, which we are going through. And that revolution is being created by concepts such as artificial intelligence, robotics, uh, 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 you know, um, um, various sort of analytics, cloud-based technologies, remote ways of doing things, automation, automated cars, automated business processes. Um, um, a lot has happened in that over the last. So we have already witnessed a very major technological advancement coming into this past 4 5 6 years, and that has actually helped companies like InCred and Gyandhan come up with tech based processes and systems, and that will continue. And because of the coronavirus, it will get a more impetus, it will get a bigger boost and impetus. So post the coronavirus, obviously STEM jobs, computer science jobs, coding jobs, computer system security jobs, automation jobs, AI jobs, financial managers, investments, investment, related to investment and formation of newer companies and mergers. All of that across the spectrum um, 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 will basically get a boost, and there will be more and more jobs and demand for skilled labor in those segments. So post the coronavirus, in 1 2 years, when you guys actually, our students actually graduate and enter the job market, I think it will be a really good situation for most students in terms of jobs and all of that. Obviously, from another point of view, from a geopolitical standpoint, is that um, obviously there is a political unrest between US and China going on. Matter of fact, recently India and China have also been at loggerheads, and China has been the number of one sender of students to each and every country for past several years. it is declining slowly. And I think if this political unrest with China continues, then a lot of the destination countries such as US and Australia will stop their reliance on Chinese students, which means that they will want to supplant the Chinese student bank with more Indian students. So there will be more Indian students who will be targeted by universities, and these are the students who will study hard, come up with a good degree, and enter a job market which will be thirsty for technological and skilled based labor coming from other countries, picking up jobs and running the economy. So it will be overall a good proposition, I think, in 2-3 years, but it will be a little challenging this year and the next year. And I think the challenges will continue till a vaccine comes out. Once a world has a vaccine for the coronavirus, I think the recovery will be fast-tracked exponentially. So these are my thoughts, Aman, on what the world will look like. So
Right.
we can go ahead from here, I guess.
Yeah. So the couple of questions around, hey, can we apply for Canada this month and can start in September semester? Or if I start the process of applying to Canada now, can I join the next coming semester? To both the questions, the answer is, see, so right now, Canada, so there will be few colleges, I won't deny that, but the good colleges or the premium colleges, I would say, for them, the deadline has passed for September. So, but good colleges or some deadline of few of the good colleges in UK is open at of this moment. So if you are ready with your IELTS score, then maybe you can apply for UK good colleges this year. And Canada, I would say medium colleges you can apply for the September. But I would, in that case, recommend if you have a good profile, then maybe differing the plan by 3 months and apply in the Jan semester. That will really open up a lot many colleges for you. So yeah, that would be my recommendation. Though you can check, like for example, just yesterday we had a couple of admissions in the University of Manchester, which is by the QS World Ranking is at 27. So admissions are happening for September session as well. So really depends on what is your profile at the moment. Next question, tell us about the condition of part-time jobs in the respective countries. So I can talk about a bit on this as well. So for US, as I mentioned, so when you say the part-time job, I'm assuming that the jobs that you do along with your study, not the internships, because for the internship we already spoken about. So for the part-time jobs, everywhere, I don't think there exists any country which don't allow you to do part-time jobs, and it's very easy to get. It's nothing like it would be very hard. One recommendation that we always give to the students, and we have been giving it from last 3 and 4 years, is if you have finalized the place, the college that you are going to, reach out to the professors in advance for the TA ships, for the RA ships. Send your resumes, send an interesting email to the professor about why their work interests you, and maybe you should be able to get a TA ship and RA ship by sitting here in India. Or the other alternative is approach by seniors. So now we have reached at a stage where in every college you should be able to find an alumni or maybe someone who is from India who is currently studying there. And believe me or not, people who go abroad, and Nilanjan can tell you more about that, they are always ready to help, because they know that while they were applying, a lot many people selflessly were helping them at that point in time. So if you will reach to any student who is currently studying there, let them know that I'm planning to join this university next year. Can you help me getting a TA ship, RA ship, or maybe getting a part-time job? And that is something that can go a long way. So Nilanjan, anything on the part-time jobs?
No, I think you hit the nail on the head pretty well on that. I strongly recommend part-time jobs in case you are going to study abroad. Pick up a part-time job along with your study program. It's a great way to make some money, great way to learn new skills such as time management, and also pick up corporate skills. You get a little bit of a workplace culture taste of that while studying. You get to manage your finances, your work and study. You get to make new connections, new relationships, new friends, new idea. Very, very good idea to pick up a part-time job. Obviously, it pays you good enough to pay for all your hostel and living fees as well. So very, very much recommended. I am guessing in the midst of the coronavirus, these part-time jobs have gone online as well. Some have been lost, which were the more face-to-face kind of part-time job profiles. They have been lost, obviously. But also, what is heartening to see is that some of these countries, such as Canada, because they are so pro-immigration, they are actually, if you had a part-time job and you lost it, the government is actually giving you $1,000 a month so that you don't go into financial problems. Okay, and the same thing Ireland also did. If you had a job part-time or full-time which you lost due to coronavirus, the government is actually giving international students about 1,200 euros a month to take care of their financial needs. So governments have friendly stance towards students who are able to get it but not impossible, and highly recommended. Yeah, so that's all I can say, Aman, on the part-time piece. Yeah.
Sure. Sure. So couple of questions regarding the visa. So are US universities offering CPT internship for summer 2021 if we attend fall 2020 online? So as of the rule right now, you have to attend 2 semesters to get eligible for the CPT. So if you do
9
it on,
months. Yeah.
that's going to be difficult. So hybrid model is a solution for that. When can we accept US consulate opening up in India? So the word around were that it will open in June, but that did not happen. So I don't think before mid-August or before early August it should open. So that is my estimate. Maybe Nilanjan, if you have any news.
I don't think it will be any time before that, and also because the US, so the US visa is there is a manual biometric process and a physical interview, and I don't think the US embassy will try to open up the embassy and have thousands of people with corona pouring into their offices every day. So until and unless the coronavirus situation in India is controlled, I don't think before mid-August or September it's going to open. That's all I can say from my standpoint. Aman, I think we are at the end of our questions. More or less, there may be some similar questions from others, but I think we have taken care of the important. Okay, all right, great. So with that, I think we actually overshot our time limit. We were gonna do a 45-minute session. We have almost double the amount of time today. But at the same time, I think and I hope that we were able to throw some light on certain uncertainties that students are facing these days. If you have to our audience today, if you have more questions about your overseas education plans or your overseas education financing plans, get in touch with Gyandhan or with InCred, depending on what question you have. You can go to Gyandhan's portal, or you can go to the InCred website and take it up from there. So to close up this session, Aman, thank you very much for coming
I just want
on
to
this platform today and sharing your views.
right.
Go ahead.
Just mention one thing. So for the attendees today, and this is something I had taken approval before. So we actually started offering GRE, IELTS, TOEFL preparation courses at a discounted price, not our courses, but of the renowned courses worldwide available at a discounted price of 25 to 30% discount. And I was able to get a further discount of 5% for the people who are attending it. So if you are attending the today's webinar, so if you are attending and thinking of planning giving GRE, IELTS and looking for a course, so maybe you can approach us, mention about this webinar so that you can get another 5% off on the top of what you're already getting. Yeah.
That's fantastic. I thank you for bringing that in. That is really good news. Getting back to what I was talking about is, Aman, thank you really a lot for coming about today and sharing your views and giving us inputs and so much information. I hope that we have been able to clarify some doubts and questions that our viewers had on their minds today. Obviously, if you have further questions, get in touch with us. Having said that, good luck to everybody. Aman, thank you once again, and all the very best. I hope that all your future plans of overseas education come to fruition very soon. And Aman and I are here to help you out with this process, okay? And our teams as well, obviously. So Aman, thanks a lot. I will take your leave now. We will be in touch, and all the best to all our viewers. Thank you.
Sure. Thanks a lot for the invite. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Not a problem. Good luck. Bye-bye, everyone. Bye.